Alright guys, we're going to do a video today that's all about NABJ. And so for many of you who don't know what it is, don't worry, we're going to tell you all about it. So, here's our video. Check us out.
Is it Mardi Gras yet?
Now, what advice do you have for students that's attending this conference, maybe during their senior year? They just graduated. What do you do for those students? What advice do you have for those students? Or maybe even people like me that's going with my friends from USF, woo-hoo, go Bulls, But you know, I'm going to the convention this year in New Orleans, and of course, I'm going with a couple of my friends I graduated with. It's probably going to be a good 4, 5, 6 or 7 of us divided. It's going to be a lot of us. So, what type of advice do you have for people that's kind of going in groups, going together? What type of advice do you have for those?
So I'd say for those people, the first thing is making sure, even though you came with a bunch of friends, that you separate from those friends, because you know people know those classmates and they want to click up with one each other, but that's going to hamstring you. You actually want to stay away from your friends throughout the whole convention if possible, and you want to gravitate more to people you don't know, particularly people who are experienced journalists who can get you in front of people who can actually get you a job instead of your friends. And
now that's, you mean as far as like the actual convention, like the floor, interviewing for jobs and stuff?
Exactly, and even at the receptions afterwards too, you don't want to just congregate in front of your friends as well, because you know them, they've been people you've been going to class with and everything. You want to try to gravitate more towards people who you don't know, and I mean you just never know who you'll meet at these conventions. This person can introduce you to this person, and I can introduce you to a job. So that's the first thing I'd say.
And as scary as it might seem, sometimes you just gotta break away. I mean, like my sister said, the only thing they can do is say no. Sometimes you gotta break away and just walk up to somebody and say, hey, how you doing? What company you work for? Or something like, I mean, it's gonna be scary. I'm trying to tell you, it's scary. But sometimes, especially when you're like me and you need a job, then you really just like, look, it's either now or never. You know, so that's your biggest advice. Don't hang around your friends. You know, for the people in the back, you have to break away. You see them back at the hotel room, or later on when y'all go to the big parties or whatever, right?
The other thing I'd say is, since you don't work for a company yet, you're a student, you're looking for a job, you also got to get you some business cards. Some simple, clean business cards that have all your contact information and the link to whatever your professional work is or your work that you're using to display. And another thing I say is, if you possibly can, try to get a lot of one-on-one or as much one-on-one time you can with a hiring manager, because you know that person may not be comfortable hiring you right now, but whenever you get a chance to sort of pick their brain and ask for advice and just have conversations with them away from the conference floor, they'll remember you that way.
Definitely.
And if you can't get hired out of the convention, the second best thing is to be remembered, because once you get a couple more years under your belt and you can go back to that person, if they always had a relationship with you from the convention in 2017 in New Orleans,
right?
It looks a lot better when your resume comes across the desk. So business cards, stay away from your friends, and do whatever you possibly can, whether that means going to the receptions or meeting that person in the hallway. Try to get one-on-one attention time with hiring managers.
Okay, so if you're a person who's already working in the industry, maybe you're already in print, broadcast, whatever it is that you're already in, and maybe you're just going to the convention just for the workshops. What is something that you would say for those people? What's the best thing to do if it's their first time going for just the workshops?
So the first thing I'd say is download the convention's app. They're using Guidebook this year to sort of power the app that they have. And go through the convention workshops before you get there. And I say that because there's some half-day or full-day workshops there that you have to pre-register for. And so if you're trying to line up a spot for a half-day workshop with CNN or CS or MSNBC, maybe the day or two before the convention, those slots are already taken. So you want to go and look at those things as early as possible so you can sort of map out what workshops you want to go to and what times they are. You'll also find that sometimes you'll want to go to 2 different workshops and they're at the same time, but you're just going to have to make an executive decision on your own and say, I want to go to this one instead of this one. You'll have to make that decision on your own, but the first thing for sure is to look at the slate of workshops early. And then once you're there, you want to try to go to whatever workshop it is 10 or 15 minutes early if you can, because you want to get a front row seat. You want to try and ask as many questions as possible.
Yeah, because last year, y'all, when I say there was a lot of like really good workshops that had like Vice and BuzzFeed and had all these good people on panels, but a lot of times if you came to those things late, you were standing up against the wall or creeping in last. Like if you know what time that workshop starts, make sure you there either on time or 5 minutes before, because guess what? On time is late. Okay, so we basically kind of went on all our main steps or tips that you can get, you know, as far as going to the convention, right?
Okay.
But what is one of, okay, let's ask this. Let's ask y'all. I'm gonna ask him this. So how many conventions have you been to? Can you list them? Can you remember them?
I've been to five conventions.
Okay.
I went to, my first one was 2006 in Indianapolis. Then I went to 2008 in Chicago, which was Unity. I skipped a couple years and then I went to 2013 in Orlando. Went to 2016 in DC with NABJ.
Oh yeah.
That's 4, and then I'll be going to Detroit in 2018.
Yep, Detroit. Woo woo. That's our hometown.
But I've also been to like a couple Society of Professional Journalists workshops and some other Unity conventions where NABJ wasn't featured there.
Okay.
But, so I've been to a ton of.
So like kind of like being in this media world, would you say that the conventions have really been really great experiences for you?
Oh, they've been all positive experiences. I can't think of one negative experience from going to them.
Do you still have your first NABJ badge?
I do. Is that my desk at work?
Yep, I got my first NABJ badge, and it's kind of like a little, I don't know, an unsaid tradition to like keep your first NABJ badge. When you go to your first convention, you definitely want to keep yours.
Souvenir.
It's just like a souvenir, yep. And I still got mine from last year. And last year it was NABJ blended with NAHJ, so it was like really, really awesome. But outside of all of the good stuff that we already talked about, what is one of your favorite parts of going to a convention?
Well, obviously it's the fun. It's catching up with your friends, it's being able to party with them. I mean, a lot of their friends, you don't get to work with them in the same newsroom every day.
That's
so
true.
You haven't seen these people for months and maybe even years.
Right.
So like catching up with these people, having fun with them, I mean, that's just sort of a cornerstone of going to the conventions for me.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the parties.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about
What? So last year, I was like very excited about some of these parties. Some of these parties weren't even published parties. So we ended up going, I don't even know how we ended up at a BuzzFeed party where they had like, what was it, Shake Shack burgers. We got there kind of late. So we missed out on all the Shake Shack burgers and fries, but they had the stuff spread it all over the table. You know, they had like a little free photo booth. It was just like all love and fun. And it was in DC, like we was at their headquarters in DC just partying. And then also NPR had like an untold like, you know, party that like a reception, free food, y'all. I know if it's free, it's me.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a balance that you got to strike in these receptions because you want to have fun, but you also want to make sure that you're still impressing the people that you had interviews with earlier in the day on the convention floor. So, you know, this is an opportunity for you to let loose a little bit. You don't have to wear all your formal wear that you were wearing during the convention, and have a little bit of fun, have a few drinks, not a lot of drinks, but a few drinks, and get some one-on-one time with those recruiters. And the biggest mistake I've seen some students make with that, going to those receptions, is that they drink a little bit too much and they get a little messy, and that's going to ruin your reputation no matter what company you're trying to work for.
Right.
So don't do that. Make sure you're always poised, make sure you're always in control of yourself in those situations, because they take mental note of that. The recruiters take mental note of that, of who can maintain their own composure throughout these parties, because at some point you're going to be a professional, and no matter what scene you're going to be in, you're going to be expected to be a professional.
Right, and expected to handle yourself.
Expected to handle yourself. So the biggest thing with there is make sure you remain open to talking. Make sure you have a few drinks, but not enough that it will impair you. and try to use that time to have one-on-one conversations with the people who are, probably going to make decisions about your candidacy.
Right. And of course, only drink if you are 21 and up.
Right. We don't condone underage drinking.
We do not condone it. Anyway, so overall, you've had your experience. Like you said, he's an NABJ baby. Basically, he's been going since he graduated.
Yeah.
I just found out about it, and I've been an NABJ member, national and local member, since 2015. So he's old in it, I'm new in it. But overall, if you're going to go to the convention this year or next year, if it's in Detroit, you definitely want to make sure you have yourself prepared. Of course, you can catch me anywhere online, #ThePreParty, because that's who I be. Everything that we talked about today and some of the other places where you could get some tips and some links are all going to be posted below. But thank you for watching.
Take care. Have fun, guys.